So the next reading is going to be for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Keep in mind that the energy is fluid. It could either be talking about you or a partner. Spirit, what messages do you want Gemini to know? What messages do you want Gemini to know? Okay, so you have the Two of Wands, which can mean something of a, maybe it's indicative of a short journey, a movement to or near water. It's also maybe someone who lives very far away who may want to see you at this time. You can see he's holding the world in his hands, and Two Wands is next to him, indicates someone who's very pensive in their thoughts, but somebody who does not live near you. The next one is the Justice card. It can mean basically that there's something that has come to light. Maybe that person that's thinking of you wants to make some, bring some balance into the situation. It could also mean the truth coming out into the open. Spirit, what else do you want? Oh, here we go. And you have the Ace of Swords, okay? So basically this is, the Ace of Swords indicates some sort of frustration. It's a double-edged sword, right? It's like a hollow victory. Perhaps whatever this person wants to tell you is basically, or bring to light, to bring balance, is something that, you know, may, let's say, you know, you're putting something out in the open, but at the same time, you may be losing that person forever. Or, you know, it's something that can bring victory, but pain as well. You understand? And the next card that flew out was the Devil, like being trapped inside by their feelings, being bound by something that's holding them back, some sort of energy that doesn't want to come out, or is holding that person back. It can speak to addictions, whether they be people, a lifestyle. Maybe, you know, they had a certain way of doing something in the past, and they're bound by that. So that's like the double-edged sword, right? Like, you love someone, but you are bound to something else. So think of the Ace of Swords in that manner. Wow, so the entire deck kind of came out of my hands. Sorry for my runny nose. Okay, let's see. And this is the Eight of Swords. Now, when you see the Eight of Swords, this is basically someone who, if they've done something to hurt you in the past, then they're really sorry about it. Like the Eight of Swords usually for a lot of tarot readers indicates like kind of being bound by your own frustrations, your own wrongdoings. You can see that she's bound only by toilet paper. She can break free whenever she wants. So it's something that's kind of all in your head. You're being tied up or held back by something that's all in your head. But in a reading like this, where you have the Devil, the Justice, Ace of Swords, and the Two of Wands, it basically indicates like that this person, whoever has done you wrong in the past, kind of wishes that they hadn't, and is really, really in their head and thinking about, you know, never doing it again, per se, right? So that's what the Eight of Swords sort of indicates. So if you're being held back, you can kind of the person is being held back, per se, or the energy is fluid, so it can be you as well. It can be your person, or it can be you. And the next card is the Five of Pentacles. So this can talk about delays, kind of whatever this person is thinking about telling you. This card can indicate that there are delays around that coming out, you know, that coming out. It's like coming in from the cold. You can see that there are people outside, and there's a church right behind them, but they don't even notice that they can go in for shelter, right? So they're like out in the cold, and you know, they feel like there's no warmth, there's nowhere to go, but they don't realize that there's a church like right behind them. And the next card is the Seven of Swords. So that's some sort of having like some plans, some hopes. It's a wish card, right? It can also mean, you know, like some sort of thief, something that was taken from you, right? Something that you feel like you lost. But in this reading here, it can be seen as some sort of a wish card. So maybe the wish of this person is to find balance and saying something that may have like be a double-edged, kind of coming out of whatever's been bounding them, right? Like breaking free of that devil energy. Really in their head about what's happened, but hasn't really had the willpower to come forward, but does have this hope and plan and dream for this to happen. So let's see what is happening here with the romance angels. What message does the romance angel have for Gemini? And this card is worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. So, I mean, the cards really do speak for themselves in terms of worth waiting for. So maybe this person is, you know, worth waiting for, you know, and it's all about divine timing. Now, if I was to do a future reading, you have the Knight of Cups. You have the Empress. So, I mean, I can go into like an extended, but just off the bat, you know, a Knight of Cups is somebody who's coming to offer their love, you know, somebody who's coming to offer their love. And the Empress is a card of fertility, of a woman who kind of like, you know, stands alone, bears all. It could be a card of pregnancy as well, but it can also be the birth of a new idea. It doesn't necessarily have to mean a literal pregnancy. And this is, you know, somebody like very motherly nature. But if you're interested in a complete full reading, just DM me.